Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Tuesday. I wanted to share with you, I talked yesterday about the Apple activities we're going to do this week. And I mentioned this man right here. His name is Johnny Appleseed, but I should have showed you a picture so you would kind of get an idea. We are going to read stories about Johnny Appleseed this week. But I wanted you to see this is just a drawing of him. It's not a real picture because he lived such a long time ago. They didn't have cameras back then. So it's all just drawings when you see stories about Johnny Appleseed. But here he is, and he is in an apple orchard. You see all the trees behind him with lots of apples growing. And that's probably an apple orchard or apple tree farm that he planted, because in this sack right here, he's got kind of like a backpack. It looks like a purse, but they call it a knapsack. He's got apple seeds here. And so what he used to do, he loved apples so much, he would walk around the country and he would plant seeds as he was walking through the forest, and he made friends with all the animals. And look what he's wearing on his head. I'm going to show you. Can you tell what that is? That is a pot that you would cook in, because he lived in the woods. He didn't have a house and he traveled. And so he would stop and build a fire, and he would put the pot on his head, and then he would use the pot to cook, and he'd wash it out, and then he'd put the pot back on his head so that when he was walking, he wouldn't have to carry it in his knapsack. So this is Johnny Appleseed, and his birthday, if he was still alive, his birthday would be this Friday. So, and also that's one reason we do Apple activities this week. The other reason we do Apple activities this week is because this is the first week of fall. Today is the first day of fall, and that means that summer is over. Now in California, it's still so warm, we don't feel like summer is over. But where my mom lives in Washington State, she said the weather's starting to get cooler now. Okay, and so instead of being summer, it's a new season of fall, and we will also do a lesson on the seasons. But right now what I want to do is go ahead and go to the calendar, and then I want to save some time at the end because I want to read you a story, an apple story. I've got my little cute little worm friend here, okay, and he'll help us read the story. And then I'm going to teach you a really, really awesome poem that we can do all week, apple poem, okay? Okay, here's our calendar. And with our new pattern on there, our ABC pattern, I've got my apple pointer, and it's still September. You see the apples up here. Okay, you see a red, a green, and a yellow. And we're gonna start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We're going to look for the number that comes after 21, 22. And because I changed the pattern, we have an ABC pattern. So if we go back to here, red, green, yellow, red, green, yellow, today is back to red. The number 22 is on a red apple. I'm going to slide it under that clip. So we're going to do the red, green, yellow, red, tomorrow will be green, and then yellow. And September 22nd is the first official day of fall, the changing of the seasons from summer to fall. Put that up there. And I'm going to turn the camera over here so we can turn this over. We had Sunday, Monday, so the next day of the week is Tuesday. Let's spell Tuesday. Terrific Tuesday. Tuesday. And I'm going to put this over here. Okay, and oh, we forgot something. I'm glad I remembered. I forgot to put the straw in again. So I've got my one straw. I'm going to put it in the pocket, in the one's pocket. I'm going to take my 8 and turn it to 9. So we still have 20. 10 plus 10 is 20. And there's 9 in this pocket. So we count 20. We've got, put the 20 in your head. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Tomorrow, when we put in, if there's 9 now, and tomorrow when we put one more, there'll be 10, and we'll get to bundle again. Today, we're gonna stop right there at 29. So I'm gonna put a little dash here to separate the numbers, And I have just enough room to put a 2 and a 9. Here's a poem for 9. Circle on the top, add a straight line. This is known as the number 9. Tomorrow we're gonna be all ready to bundle. Okay, I'm gonna move the camera over here to our Circle Time Center where we keep track of the day of the week. I'm gonna take the 21 was yesterday. It's the 22nd of September, the first day of fall. And I'm gonna slide the day of the week over to Tuesday and let's read it. Today is September 22nd, 2020. We stop at the period. The day of the week is Tuesday. The weather is still sunny and hot. Okay, the number, we're still working on 5. We're going to do a little review of this week with the new Go Math pages 1 through 5. Okay, we're not going to do a new color or a new shape this week because I needed to have some extra time this week to do all of our fun apple activities. We're working on P this week. Big P, little p. P for penguin, P for pig, and the pig is pink. So we've got 2 words that start with P. Pink and pig. Okay, I'm gonna move the camera over here to what I like to call the focus wall. And remember, I'm gonna remind everybody this week, you've got a few more days. Please go to the store, get 1. Whoa, oh boy. You saw I dropped that, didn't I? Okay, 1 red apple, 1 green apple, and 1 yellow apple. And again, parents, I found mine at Tom's Farms. I don't want you to have to go all the way to Tom's Farms. If you can't find the really pretty yellow ones at the store, get whatever you can closest to it. Because we're going to be tasting 1 slice of red, 1 slice of green, 1 slice of yellow. On Thursday, we're going to do this apple tasting. And you're going to, try to see the difference between the 3. They're all delicious, but they all taste just a little bit different and they have a little bit different texture. And then you're gonna vote for your favorite one, okay? So I'm gonna put these back into my basket. I showed you the Johnny Appleseed. I've got all my books up here ready to read. And, oh, I even put my picture that we made yesterday where we labeled the parts of the apple. After my cute little story, the little worm had to find a home, and the home had to be red and round, no doors, no windows, but the important thing, it had to have a star in the inside of it. So he tried out a orange, he tried out a pear, he tried out a pomegranate, and the last thing he tried was a red delicious apple, and it had all of those things, no doors, no windows, it's red, it's round, and inside is a star. So I hope you watched that lesson yesterday. You could see the star inside, right? Okay, I'm going to choose this book to read right now, and I'm going to back this up. I'm going to sit on my little stool, I think. Okay, this is called The Big Red Apple. Big Red Apple. Title page. Big red apple. A tree grew. So here's a cute little house, and there's the apple tree. A tree grew. The tree was full of big red apples. Don't those look great? They look delicious. Wind came. It blew with a big loud whisper. Okay, well, whispers, I always think of soft and quiet, but if the wind is blowing, it's like whoosh. I guess that is a big loud whoosh. It shook one big red apple down. The big red apple lay on the ground like a bright red rock. Look at the apple fell off the tree and it's just laying on the ground, kind of like a rock would be on the ground. A worm came. What do you think the worm's gonna do? He's not a cute little green worm, it is a cute little orange worm. Like a tiny mole, it ate a tiny hole in the big red apple. That's just like the story I read yesterday. That worm is looking for a home. He's gonna chew a hole in the apple and eat it, right? A bird came. You think the bird's gonna eat the apple too? It ate the worm. with a big loud squawk. Oh, goodbye, worm. It pecked the big red apple, then it flew off. So the worm was inside the apple. Then it must have come out and the bird ate the worm, and then the bird pecked a few holes in the apple also. A boy came. He picked up the big red apple. Flunk. He slapped it in his hand like a juicy red baseball. Okay, so he's got it in his hand now. Crunch, crunch, crunch. He ate the big red apple. I wonder if he knew that the worm ate the apple and the bird ate the apple too. He spit the seeds. The seeds fell to the ground. He's spitting the seeds out on the ground. What's going to happen when the seeds get to the ground, into the dirt? Rain came. Its long wet fingers patted the seeds into the dirt. So the rain is raining onto the seeds, kind of pokes them into the dirt. What do you think's going to happen? The sun came. It shimmered and made the seeds warm. Look what's happening, you guys. The seeds are in the dirt and the sun comes. Now look, the little seedlings are starting to grow. They're starting to sprout. Okay, the stems are coming up and the leaves are coming up. So a tree grew. The tree was full of big red apples. Now, boys and girls, that doesn't happen overnight, does it? You don't start out with a little plant and then all of a sudden the next day the big apple tree grows. If you're going to save your seeds inside your apple and plant it, it might take years for it to get this big. I don't know how many years, but quite a few years for it to get nice and big like that to where you could eat the apples. But that's a nice little story, okay? And what I wanted to do is teach you a little poem, and we'll be doing it the rest of the week. And then on Friday, we can do it together in our Zoom. So at school, I have these 2 red apple, almost like puppets, and I looked everywhere for them. This is what happens when you've been teaching as long as I have. I've been sharing, I share a room with people, and I loan out my stuff. Oh, I looked everywhere and I couldn't find them. So I used my red one yesterday for our little story. So I'm going to take 1 red and 1 green, okay? And the poem goes like this. I'm going to pretend that I'm an apple tree, and these are my bright red, these are my branches and my limbs, and these are the red apples in the tree, okay? Way up high in the apple tree, 2 little apples smiled down at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came the apples, and were they good. So I didn't really take a bite of that apple, I just pretended. So I'm going to put these apples down because I can do it better, and I want you guys to do it with me. So make your tree, and you can just pretend your fists are the apples, okay? Way up high in the apple tree. Now look up at them. Look up at them. 2 little apples smile down at me. Now pretend like you're going to shake the tree. You want the apples to fall down, so shake it. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Now pretend they fell down, and pick one up. Pretend like you eat it. Take a big bite. Rub your belly. And were they good? We're going to do it one more time, okay? Way up high in the apple tree, 2 little apples smiled down at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came the apples, and were they good? Okay, good job. If we were in the classroom, we would make every child would get a chance to be the apple tree, and then somebody else would come up and shake them. But maybe you can do it with your family, okay? All right, that's all for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.